tonight's headlines. Rural leader draws a neutral fortune stick for Hong Kong after stumbling on 4 previous tries. Families gather for sumptuous meal to start the Year of the Dragon, while revellers get ready for fireworks display at Victoria Harbour. And hosts Qatar retain the Asian Cup behind a hat-trick from their star, Akram Afif.
Ahead of the expected big crowds at Che Kung Temple on the second day of Lunar New Year, one visitor arrived early for a special mission. Just like in previous years, Hung Yee Kok chairman Kenneth Lau was tasked with drawing a fortune stick for Hong Kong. Dating back to the colonial days, the act used to be led by a government official before Lau's father, the late Lau Wang Fat, took over in 2004. The rural leader knelt and prayed silently for Che Kung's revelation in the Year of the Dragon. Even though this was his 9th time performing the ritual, Lau had trouble drawing a stick. After 4 unsuccessful attempts, the right stick finally fell from the bamboo cylinder. Known as chims in Cantonese, each of the 96 sticks indicate either good, bad, or neutral omens. And for the 7th consecutive year, Lau drew a neutral stick for the SAR. Each stick corresponds to a Chinese poem. The one drawn, number 15, read, "Carrying an axe into the woods, but where to seek for the unprevailing? Lost gifts and drained energy, better to wait for spring to blossom." A brief interpretation on the yellow piece of paper suggested one would be generally safe from harm, but there won't be much luck for financial ventures or marriages. Lau tried to put a positive spin to the prophecy. He said Hong Kong's economy may not be doing well, but there are still many opportunities if the government can roll out precise measures to address issues. But fortune teller Chen Tin-Yan offered a different take on the poem. He said number 15 is a borderline bad stick, and predicted Hong Kong's fortunes would only start to improve after September. Referring to the first line of the text, Chan added Che Kung has called for patience as there is nothing to be found in the woods. The third line of the scripture also suggested Hong Kong is facing a brain drain. Janice Yu, Cable News. Lunar New Year is all about keeping traditions alive, and one of them is to cook up a feast on the second day. In Cantonese culture, the festive meal is called HOYIBC, literally meaning a meal to start the year with. While a sumptuous meal usually signals prosperity, grocers at wet markets complained that business was more or less the same. She suspected shoppers had stocked up on Lunar New Year's Eve, while others simply spent the holiday overseas. Those who were looking for fresh ingredients also had to pay a bit more today, as prices have gone up. But most said they were not bothered as long as the family sits down happily for a meal. Restaurants were also the big winners, as many were fully booked for the day. A large number of reservations were made by mainland tourists who are coming to enjoy the fireworks tonight. Restaurant owners expect business to increase by 20 to 30% compared to the previous year. With mild weather and picture-perfect conditions, large crowds have camped on both sides of Victoria Harbour this afternoon to secure a vantage spot for the pyrotechnic spectacle. The 23-minute performance will see 23,000 shells launched into the skies. Mainland tourists said their hopes were high because fireworks are not allowed across the border. Authorities urged revellers to make use of public transport, as most car parks across Tim Sa Tsui were full and traffic is expected to be very congested throughout the night. Janice Yu, Cable News.
bocsánatot kérek azoktól, akiket megbántottam.
As head of state, today I'm speaking to you for the last time. I am resigning from the office of the President of the Republic. In a major setback for Hungary's ruling party, President Katalin Novak resigned on live television over a simmering scandal which stemmed from a controversial pardon last year. While the Hungarian president is largely a ceremonial role, the office holder could still veto legislation or issue pardons. Novak pardoned around 24 people last April, but the list of convicts was only published this month. One of them was a former orphanage executive who covered up acts of sexual abuse by his boss against underage boys. The revelation triggered a public outcry, as the pardon seemingly went against Prime Minister Viktor Orbán's long-running pledge to protect children.
Tavaly áprilisban abban a hiszemben döntöttem a kegyelem mellett.
I made the decision last year with the belief that the convict did not abuse the children. I made a mistake because the pardon and a lack of justification were bound to raise doubts, Novak explained. An election for her successor must be held no more than 30 days after Parliament accepts her resignation. Once a rising star, Novak remains Hungary's only female president and the youngest to hold the office at 46. Protesters who have camped outside her Budapest residence over the past week had mixed feelings after finding out about the resignation.
Szemek között kell keresni.
She's not the main culprit, this woman said. It's scary that she'll be replaced by another member of the ruling party.
Utána
She'll still keep all her benefits, a bodyguard, housing, and money for the rest of her life, this man said. Rémignon Cable News.
Supporters of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan staged a rally outside the Election Commission's office in Karachi amid allegations of vote rigging. No party achieved a majority in Thursday's vote, although independent candidates backed by Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party secured 93 seats in the 266-member National Assembly. Rival Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, led by another former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, came in second with 74 seats. It plans to form a coalition government with Pakistan People's Party, which secured 54 seats and is led by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Khan's supporters are demanding a fair vote counting process, as it could be some time before the final results are confirmed.
We are not fighting with anyone. We are not against any institution. This is our country. Every institution is so dear and near to us. We regard and respect every institution. We trust every institution. We are just asking them to respect this mandate of the public. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
Ahead of a planned ground assault, Israel has stepped up its offensive on the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. At least 28 people, including women and children, were killed after Israeli airstrikes targeted 3 residential buildings. This man said his sons and their families living in the block's upper floors died in the attack. A drone strike on a vehicle in the city killed 3 senior police officials. In the Abu Halawa area of Rafah, near Gaza's border with Israel, 13 people were killed in airstrikes. They included 2 policemen. Meanwhile, a 6-year-old Palestinian girl who went missing 12 days ago has been found dead. Hind Rajab was the only survivor when her family came under attack while trying to flee the fighting from Gaza City. Paramedics who responded to her call for help also went missing. Another emergency team reached the site yesterday and found 6 bodies inside a badly damaged car. A few meters away, another vehicle. The ambulance sent to fetch Rajab lay completely gutted. Palestinian authorities said the ambulance was deliberately targeted.